So I moved to Portugal for the sunshine, um, but nobody warned me for the plumbing, eh? Or the humidity or the moisture. So Portugal is like a charming friend who is amazing at parties, and yet I love it. Spoiler: I am still here. Hello, everybody. My name is Rob from Living Road, and I live here now in Portugal for 2 years and a half. And I take the liberty to make a little fairy tale, a little story about my living here and the things that I occurred. And I do that through a little satire. I have made 13 chapters about Portugal, and each chapter touches one particular item or issue. I start with chapter 1, of course. And chapter 1 is about, sorry, I have to read it sometimes because I use ChatGTP also, I must confess. It's about the Portuguese toilet. Living in Portugal teaches you humility, not via meditation, but via the toilet. I don't know who designed the toilet pipes, but I'm guessing small ambitions because you must be very cautious about what you are throwing into the toilet here in Portugal. So every flush is a cliffhanger. You press the button and just hope that everything is going to be okay. Yeah, back home you flush the button and there is certain confidence what is going to happen. Well, here it's not. You wait here, you monitor, and you pray. That's the story, the chapter about the Portuguese toilet. Chapter 2, it's about the streets in Portugal, the narrow streets. You know, the first time I drove to the streets and I went to the streets, I thought, it's charming, it's romantic, it's authentic. But after a while, you notice that the streets aren't meant for normal walkings, not for cars. They were meant for donkeys, in fact. So when you drive with a car to the street and you approach another car, you must negotiate. It's not an easy task to pass by. You have to be friendly and you have to see whether your mirror doesn't kiss the other mirror, you know. But it's a habit. It's a habit. And it's a totally other experience than in my country. Huh? But again, it has something. It has something. You see before you the medieval scenes, and you adapt, and yeah, you go on, and it's another way to have the meaning of transportation. Chapter 3 is about the cold houses. The fact that it's colder inside than outside, very often. So inside and outside 16, inside 12. Sometimes it's like an Arctic research station. What I do here is wearing sweaters that I really don't like. Awful colors, old-fashioned 80s sweaters, but I do it here because it's mandatory. You know, heat is cost a lot here when you have an oil heating device and two other small plastic 1500 watt engines, and then you got a bill and you think, wow, it's 300 euros a month. Why? Because, yeah, it's another way of warming yourself. Um, Therefore, sweaters are very, very useful here. It's a layer country, okay? It's not only a mold country, it's also a layer country. And then the Portuguese language, of course, huh? I find it really so hard, so difficult. In Belgium, we speak three languages, Dutch, French, German. And we learn a little bit of English in school. You hear it, a little bit of English. But the Portuguese language, that's another thing. When I first heard the sounds, and at the same time, I read the words, I thought, okay, they are forgetting some characters, because I saw 12 letters, characters, 12, but they pronounce three. Strange, but it's normal. It turns out to be normal. Um, and I must say, once you recognize the rhythm, yeah, it's like music. I love the sound of it. I love the sound of it. But I gave up, I must really admit it, to really learn the language. I speak English, and as you know, most of the Portuguese people understand it and speak English also. I am a little bit embarrassed because I am living here, and I really tried in the beginning. I went to school to learn the language, but then I tried to go to school 7 times, but every time there was something. The teacher was ill, or the teacher was they didn't find the teacher, or there was a strike, or there was it was very hard to really get to the classroom and to start to begin to learn the language. So I gave up a little bit, but still, I understand it when I read it more and more. Yes, but the pronunciation, my God. Okay, but that's me. Portuguese bread. Portuguese bread is amazing. 80% of the bread has holes in it. Or you can say a bread equals a hole sometimes. Um, there are several moments that I wanted to smear a bread, a slice of bread with Nutella, and suddenly I smeared an empty hole. I smeared air, and it's a very, very spiritual um, experience. Um, so when we find a bread without holes, we are very happy. We have our own favorite bread, I must say. Uh, and it costs a little bit more. It's 2.79. And the bread with holes, the holes bread, it's 0.75 or something. So forget it. When you see a bread 0.75, you think, wow, cheap. Yes, air is cheap. And then the TVs in every restaurant. In Portugal, in every restaurant there is a TV screen. So when you have a romantic dinner with your girlfriend, and the atmosphere is okay, wine, candlelight, music. But above the head of your girlfriend, there is a big screen, and the chance that there is a football match, is 90%. So, as a man, when you have a romantic dinner, you the rules say that you have to watch to look into the eyes of the girlfriend. It's very hard when there is a big screen with a match between Porto and, in my case, Anderlecht. So your attention is not with your girlfriend anymore, and it's bad. It's bad for your reputation. So the girlfriend isn't happy. You see that in the eyes, and that's very annoying because you will have to pay the bill, of course. Um, well, I just want to say screens are everywhere. Um, in Portugal, you have uh, at home you have a TV, you have your mobile, and sometimes you want to get offline, but it's hard here. Screens everywhere. And then the chapter about dogs. Every house in Portugal has at least 25 dogs, I suppose. So, and every dog in Portugal has a job. They just don't bark, they communicate, also. When one dog starts, the other dogs falls in. One dog sees a cat, he knows that. The other dog says, I see a rabbit, or there is a leaf. They are communicating with each other. Not only uh, two dogs in one cage, but also the dogs from other villages. When one dog starts to bark, the other dogs hear it and react. And when you're lucky, it starts at 5 in the morning and ends at 12 midnight, when you're lucky. Okay. The next chapter, what chapter is it? It's chapter 7, power cuts. Now, recently we had the storm, 6, 7 storms in 6, 7 weeks. But also without storms, regularly, I could say regularly, you have some power cuts. Okay, when you're in the middle of a Zoom session, and it's very important, you're feeling that you are going to win a big deal with a big company, and suddenly darkness, silence, power cut. So I could say that electricity in Portugal is not a right, it's a privilege. And please, when you are in a store and you see candles, little candles, big candles, whatever, buy them. You need them. Not today, but maybe tomorrow. That's an advice. The next chapter is about the wires in the air. You know, wherever you look up in the sky, you see wires, the 5G wires. Portugal is very famous for its 5G. Yes, that's good, but they are above the ground. They think, no, in under the ground is that's too easy. Let's make it more difficult. Let's wire everything from pole to pole, from house to house, um, above the ground. So it's iconic. The Portuguese, they are very proud, proud people, and they want to show what they can do with their own way of making 5G available in every house. So they make a web and connect every building with the famous virus. Um, the skyline and the horizon of Portugal is very beautiful at the ocean. When you go a little bit inside, more inside the country, yeah, then the wiring world approaches. The next chapter is about a very common issue, a very common problem here in this country. It's about moisture. I already told you it's not only the the sweater country, it's also mold country, I call it. So mold is everywhere. It's like a personality. It's alive. We in our house have several mold spots, and one spot is a piece of work, piece of art. It's a black, white thing growing every day. We see it in the morning during our coffee break, breakfast, and we look up and then we see it. Our body is like a friend, and it grows every day. And we clean it, but it comes back. And the thing has emotions, you know. It talks to you. It says, "I am belong here. I belong here. Maybe you don't belong here, but I belong here. It's part of my country." And get used of it. Get used to it. Yeah, get used to it. And we do. We do. Um, sometimes, yeah, sometimes 2 times, 3 times a week, we clean it with special products here at Continent and Lidl. They have special uh, flasson to get rid of the mold. It helps. But okay, when you see them like I said, a piece of art, then you can live with it, and that is what we do.
The sponsor of this video is DampGuard. Call DampGuard for all your damp, moisture, or mold-related problems. They have a long-lasting, sustainable solution. See info in the description.
And then the loan receipts. When you buy something in the grocery store, you buy, for instance, one chewing gum, and it cost 0.95 euros. You got a very long receipt, a documentation, een handleiding, in Dutch een handleiding. You get home and you look at the receipt and you see, ah, yeah, that's the item I bought, a chewing gum from 0.95 euros. So, you know, I never unsure whether I bought a chewing gum or a house, you know? So it's so important, those long receipts. Well, and after 1 week of buying stuff, you had you have you need a file, you need a map, you know, and then once a month you look over the receipts, and the total amount is then 3 euros. But you got a novel, eh? You got a novel, a documentation. Yeah, that's also very strange, eh? That they use a lot of paper. You know, when I should be Canon or rank Xerox or Toshiba, I have my headquarters here in Portugal because they use so much paper for everything. You know, when your soul leaves the body, that is when you step in the Atlantic Ocean. It's so cold. I had no idea. I saw the beautiful pictures of Portugal via internet, YouTube, the beaches, the photos of the Algarve, And then I went for the first time in the ocean in Nazaré. It was not only cold, it was also an adventure. It was, I almost drowned there. But now I look to my screen. Um, okay, that was a joke. Okay. It's not water, it's a character test. After 5 seconds, you're officially stronger. That, that is funny. Chapter 13, the Portuguese time. Um, okay, you make an appointment at 2 p.m. until for 2 p.m. Sorry, you know now, and I know now that 2 p.m. is not 2 p.m. It's 2:30 or 3 p.m. or tomorrow. That is a fact. So it's sometimes frustrating, especially in the beginning. Um, but now it's more liberating. You know, time is not so important here. We Belgians and Americans and you know the rest of Europe and the world, we are stressed. We have a lot of stress. And one thing here that I feel is that um, I feel more liberated. Time is less important here, but I still am in a learning process, I must say, because a lot of times I made some appointments with Portuguese workers, and then they say, okay, first we have to lunch, and the lunch is takes 3 hours, I think, something like that, and then it's 4 o'clock, but at 4:15 it starts to rain, so that's a reason not to come and not to work. And at 5 it starts to get darker. So an appointment with workers is it can be not an appointment. You have to see what happens. And like I said in the beginning, I said, "Wow, it is not the way I work. It is not the way I used to work." But slowly but surely, you get used to it. So the Portuguese time, um, it's an iconic thing also here. It exists. Now, when I'm back in Belgium and I make an appointment with friends, I say, okay, it's going to be a Portuguese time. Um, uh, it can be, I can arrive there at your party, not today, but maybe tomorrow when the party is over. You know, the last chapter, I think it's chapter 14, it's about the people. Now, chapter 1 to 13, you can say, oh my God, you are complaining, but it's satire, you know. I love the country, and I love also, especially the people. That's a fact. They're helpful, they're kind. Um, when I lived alone for a while in the beginning in Tomar, suddenly when I wake up, I open the door and there were oranges and apples and pears and wine. Um, Even once I didn't close the door because I say Portugal is a safe country, so I took it very literally. And I left and I didn't close the door. I came back, I opened my fridge, and the fridge was full of wine and orange and lemons. And so they took the liberty to enter the house and to put some stuff in my fridge. So that's also Portugal, of course. And You know, the people, yeah, they are warm. That's a fact. They're very helpful. Like I said, so all those 13 chapters before the 14th, it's not so important. Eh? The most important thing is that the people are nice and that every other sometimes annoying issue you is not so important anymore. So that is what I have to say now after 2 years. So, guys and dolls, this was the documentary about Portugal. Of course, it's my view. Eh? And all jokes aside, this was said with a wink, okay? Humor, a little bit of humor. But nevertheless, some things I mean. I mean, there are some annoying things in Portugal, there are some good things. Most of the things in Portugal are very okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this personal view of the country, and I hope you enjoy our next vlogs also. So, when you like it or when you have a comment, please don't hesitate and give a comment to our vlogs. Okay, subscribe, comment, share, and I see you next time.